Hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. I am playing with a friend's stamp actually. I borrowed this a little while ago and I thought it was just too cute. So it's called Christmas with Barkley. We've got some echo lines, we've got some Gansai Tambi, and we're also going to use another one. We're going to use the same company, the Gansai Tambi, but we're also going to use the Starry Colors metallics. They're all metallics and everything else. I am going to stamp this down with a little bit of Versa Fine, and we're going to heat emboss it with just some clear embossing powder. This is going to give us a little lip for it. I haven't watercolored for quite a long time, and I actually have another one of these stamped out, but I completely forgot that I was going to watercolor, and it's not in watercolor, but this one is. This I think is Tim Holtz. I can't quite remember because it's an unusual shape for us here in Australia. I'm going to mask it down with some delicate tape, painter's tape. I have absolutely no luck with the blue tape, so I always go the purple, delicate surface tape. I'm going to use a bit of a mixture of colors here. Now this one is 601 light green. We've got a little bit of water. I've got clean water and dark water. I'm putting a bit of the water down, and we're also going to use the red, which is 334 Scarlet. I'm going to layer this up and try and keep a little bit of a highlight towards his head, which is sort of a little bit different for me, but that's what we're going to do because it was a long time since I've done any watercolor. So we've got the light green here. I'm also going to put a little bit of the 654, which is it's called fir green. It's like a blue green color. So I'm just dropping some of that in on the left hand side. So far this is pretty much as it is, as you would think. My cat, I went out of my comfort zone, and I don't mind it. It's a little bit, I was looking for, I don't know what they call it in cats. I know my sister-in-law had a dog, and it was called Brindle. So a bit of black, a lot of dark brown sort of thing, I would say, actually, with a little bit of an orangey color. So we're doing, I don't know, we're trying to play with that and see what happens. I'm going to put a little bit of, I just got a bit of red into my hat, a little bit of the light green into my hat at some point. My trees are still a little bit wet, so it's branched out a little bit. There's a few mistakes in this, but it wouldn't be me if it wasn't having a couple mistakes. I'm going to use a little bit of water and just put it into these Gansai Tambi and let it sit for a little while. I've mixed it all up. I'm going to add a little bit more water to water it down, and our little puppy is going to it's going to be black and white. So I'm putting a little bit of grey in where the shadows are. So at his little back with his butt, behind his ear because it's sitting on top of the other one, and I'm just trying to soften that and blend that out a little bit. So the same as like Copic coloring, the most of it is going to be white. And I dropped water in my paint, so we're just trying to clean that up a little bit because I'm so rusty with my watercolor. But I get my stuff together. It's all good. It's all good. I'm still going to go through with a little bit of the grey and just give them a little bit of depth. That's the aim, isn't it? To give them a little bit of depth of colour. His tail and his ears are going to be black. And yeah, as I said, the cat is going to be, leave a comment down below what this cat ends up being like. Is it called a brindle? Is it just called a tabby? He's not going to be full on orange, even though he's going to look like it for a while, but he's going to be a mottled dark grey with orange sort of tendency. I'm not a cat person, so this was colouring cats in the best of times is way out of my comfort zone, so this was a little bit different for me. Just still going through adding layers of my colour, and I've added I'm just trying to get the colouring for his feet. I have added a little bit of the green, but it's very, very hard to see. This is a little bit too pink. Still a little bit too pink. So what I did was add a little bit of red onto that, just like really, really watered down red. And that was much, much better. My hat, again, I've left my red part to hopefully dry a little bit. And this is where my cat is going to look like a mess for a while. This red, this is not actually red, it's brown, but it's got a lot of red to it, and it's not going to work, so I'm going to go and change it. And my water is getting very, very red, so as I said, I'm really going out my comfort zone here. He's starting to look really pink, isn't he? So for a while he's just going to look a mess. I don't know. Can you get cats this red, this orange? I don't think so. But, who knows? But I'm just going to add, this is deep umber brown that we're coming in with now. And so we're going to water it down a lot as well. And try to bring back this orange colour. And it's just going to look like a mess for a while until it doesn't. Now I'm still going with Christmas cards. Let's just say I'm working on next year's. That will do. Because I just couldn't help myself and stop. There were so many little bits and pieces that I want to play with. Like, I've done my commitments that I need to do, and they're coming up, and they have Christmas colours, even one that's destined to be after Christmas. But anywho, it's showing things about die cuts, so that would be, I think that was fun. But I just kept on going. So in the next couple of weeks, you're going to have a mixture of non-Christmassy ones and some Christmas ones for those last minutes plays, or, just the sheer fact that it's Christmas time and you can make Christmas cards if you aren't already sick of doing that, which I'm not, because it's in my happy place. It's in my craft room. It's where I can sit there and ignore the world. Let's be honest. That's what we do. We sit there and we craft, and we don't have to think about everything else. I'm actually going away this afternoon. Today is the 2nd of December. You, I think, are going to see this on Tuesday. So, yeah, I'm going away for the weekend with some people that I don't know, honestly. It's a bit of a story to explain that, but needless to say, that's what I'm doing, and it should be a lot of fun. So there will be probably a few Instagram posts coming up of just things like I play with. Now I am getting my head in the way a little bit, mostly because I just needed to get right over there with the watercolouring. So he's starting to look a little bit better. But I wanted something a little bit different with the cat and a little bit out of my comfort zone. So I hope you like him. He's just a funky sort of colour. And we're almost finished up colouring. We've got to do the snow, and we're going to do a couple of other bits and pieces, but we're almost there. Oh, sorry, that's my shoe on my chair. I haven't played with my echolines for quite a while, so I decided that I was going to use some pastel blue. Now there is a darker colour in there. On his feet, I was a mixture of like the pastel rose, which is $3.90. I did try the red violet, which is $5.45. So there's a mixture of colours there, and just trying to tone it down. But I'm much more happier with that. Why I'm using a mixture is because I don't have a lot of echo lines yet. I've only got, well, you saw my tray of echo lines, which I suppose is quite a few. But I don't have a lot of browns and what other colours don't I have? Black, browns, greys, all the colours that I haven't used today. So I'm going to go in. I thought I'll use this pastel blue. You can see the darker blue there, and it was just too much. I tried it once and then that's it. Quite often you see a lot of people putting a little bit of blue down for snow. I'm not worried too much about my flakes of snow because we're going to put some more of that in. I think majority of them is, except for my trees, the majority of the quotation marks snow are still white. I think most of it is still white. Here I'm just trying to put a little bit of shadow underneath him using the snow and just blending it out. I'm using a size 4 paintbrush here. Now, I am not a watercolorist at all, but I like to play and I like to dabble. So if you need some more tutorials on that sort of stuff, I don't know whether we could say they're tutorials because I don't know enough. But we can do that. We can have some fun together and learn together the do's and the don'ts. And I'm so good with the don'ts. Don't do what I do half the time because I carried away, and not half the time. Let's be nicer to myself. I'm using a little bit of white here. There's a couple of really big dabs, but I'm not worried. In the end, you're not going to see those quite so much. They're just going to see them over the front of the little animals. And I'm just trying to clean off some of those extra bits. I'm going to dry that off a little bit, and we're going to come in with this other one. As I said, starry colours, and we've got the champagne gold. I've added a little bit of water, just giving a really good mix. This is probably too much because I get this great big blob. I'm going to quickly wipe that up. You can't really see it. You can't really. But in the light, it adds a little bit of shimmer. I'm talking about the big blob that I've done. It adds a little bit of shimmer, but you can see the smaller drops. I wasn't too sure what colour to do this as a matte, which it's a pretty plain and simple card in the sense of not a lot of layers. But I thought this blue would be rather nice and pick up the light in the snow. So I've raised it up with a bit of foam. This is going to be flat down. The next thing I'm going to do, I did play around with some extra bling. I went to put these clear sequins down, and I thought, I wonder how it would look with some snowflakes. But they were too big, and you can see them off to the side there. They were just too big, so we went back to the clear sequins. And I'm just fiddling with, I had a bit of a darker line from my little tool there, so I really need to get a lighter colour. And I do have it, but I just haven't pulled it out. I'm going to use a little bit of multi-matte medium to adhere those down, and that is my card. I hope you like it. I hope you are well, and I'll talk to you very, very soon.